Hello, everybody, and welcome to This Week in Astrology with your friend Gretchen Heidel. I'm here tonight going over the astrology of the week of July 3rd, 2023, all the way until July 9th, 2023. And I'll be going over the astrological transits, all the different things that are happening this week. And so if you are just joining me, and if it's your first time to my YouTube channel, welcome. And if you are coming back and reoccurring, love seeing you here, and thank you so much. We started this week on July 3rd with a bang. We had a big full moon. I am posting this just slightly after. I've been taking a little bit of time off for the 4th of July holiday for the United States birthday. So I'm posting a little bit after the fact, but it's still a noteworthy event that I'd like to just briefly touch on, where the full moon took place in the astrological sign of Capricorn, 11 degrees Capricorn, and that the peak or the height of it, it's called the apex of it, was on Monday morning early at 7:39 a.m. Eastern time, so 4:39 a.m. Pacific Daylight Time. And basically this is all about work, the CEO, how we function, our goals, and all of that. This full moon initiated back on December 23rd, 2022, during the last new moon in Capricorn. So it's all the way until now that we are basically coming to fruition. Remember, during the new moon, we plant new seeds, and full moon, we harvest. And it took us 6 months to do that. And basically that's what the deal is. So think back to what was happening around Christmas time or so in your life, what was going on then. And that's where we were initiating something new in the sign of Capricorn. And now we are finishing, wrapping up, and completing that. And that's basically what happens during full moons. This particular full moon was also a super moon. There's going to be the next 3 months are going to be super moons. And here's an interesting fact. In the next 3 months, there's going to be 4 full moons. That's right, I said 4. So usually there's 1 full moon per month, but next month in August, there's going to be 2 full moons. So basically, all 4 are going to be super full moons. So that means they're close to the earth. We're going to see them. They're going to be huge. And also we will feel the gravitational pull a little more strongly with the full moon being in a position where it's closer to the planet. And so this last full moon of August is going to be actually the biggest full moon out of all of the super moons. It's going to be the most superest of supers. And so that's going to take place on August 30th, 2023. Also going to be what they call a blue moon, once in a blue moon, if you've heard that expression. Well, that's because there's going to be 2 full moons, and they're both going to be super moons in the month of August. So this is the first of 4 super moons, and so this one was big and bright. And if you were in the area of the country that you could actually see it, here on the East Coast, we're having all this problems with smoke from Canada coming down, so we haven't been able to see the moon quite as clearly as usually, but we will still feel the reverberations very strongly. So where in your astrological chart is Capricorn, and that's where this particular full moon took place. Now, it's also good to burn or destroy the new moon manifestation list, and if you missed it, you can always do it on the second chance full moon, which is coming next Sunday, and that's going to be on the 9th. So that's going to be the second chance full moon, and we can burn or destroy the list then if you missed already your opportunity. I always say if it's like within 12 hours, 24 hours, you could still burn it. I mean, it's fine. At least you're doing it after the full moon and not before. You never want to burn the list before the full moon. You always want to do it after the peak of it. So 7:39 a.m. Eastern time on Monday was the peak of it. And again, it's 11 degrees Capricorn. So, you know, our goals, our aspirations, our dreams, our self-discipline, all those types of things are very Capricornian. And really, I said dreams, but really it's like implementation of the dream. It's kind of like the system or the work that we have to do to make that dream come true. It's not about the dream just landing in our lap. That's not Capricorn. Capricorn, after all, is ruled by Saturn, and I keep talking about this, but Saturn is retrograde right now in Pisces. Saturn and Capricorn really are more about hard work. It's a very earthy, moon, and also Capricorn is a leader. So if you are a Capricorn or a Cancer, you will be feeling this because the sun was also 11 degrees Cancer at the time of that. Or if you're an Aries or a Libra, you will be feeling that as well. If you're another earth sign like Virgo or even Taurus, you will be feeling this very strongly as well. So how did you do? Love to hear from you in the comments below. How did you do during this full moon? I had some real funky dreams, but I feel like I have that every full moon. So so you'll have to let me know how you did during this full moon, and did it feel hard? Did it feel easier? I mean, Capricorn is so prone to working. This might have been a very worky sort of weekend for you, even though you might need to take some time off, or you should have been taking some time off. This could have even made us kind of feel a little bit more like we have to get our duties done, or our chores around the house, or even take home some work. That tends to be very Capricornian. Now, what's interesting and what's going to be active not just on the day on Monday, but even getting into Tuesday on 4th of July. So happy birthday, United States. People always say to me, I always feel like it's shocking, but people will say to me, the United States has a birthday. I'm like, what do you think 4th of July is? And so, yes, the United States is a Cancer and has a lot of Cancerian sort of traits and qualities. The United States birth chart has a bunch of planets in Cancer. So on the 3rd of July, 4th of July, 5th, we're going to be feeling this one. And basically what was happening and what was very active during this particular full moon is Chiron. Chiron actually formed a trine with black moon Lilith. Now, I talked a little bit about Lilith before on different broadcasts. So Chiron highlighting black moon Lilith can be a little bit triggering. Lilith and Leo, and so forming a trine with Chiron that's in Aries. And so these two are sort of operating behind the scenes. Now, it's a trine which is considered to be positive, but Black Moon Lilith is not always super fun. She can be dark thoughts. It's almost, I always say that she's very similar in a lot of ways energetically to Pluto. So when we have like Black Moon, when we have Lilith and Chiron kind of hanging out together in the backdrop, and plus too, there's other planetary aspects to Chiron as well during these next few days. This full moon is caught up with Chiron. So there's something that's being brought up to be healed. We might even have a trigger or sort of a darker feeling about something or whatever. And that tends to happen during Lilith and or Chiron events. Chiron's here to heal something. The Chiron's nickname is the Wounded Healer. So it's all about healing something behind the scenes. So if you had a triggering event or something that kind of came up for you, where you sort of felt like a little bit of a darkness or a little bit of a shadow or a little bit of something that was triggering with a family member or whatever, that can be very much what this particular thing is, but it's being brought up to be healed, not just to torture us with it. So we might be thinking about darker things or darker thoughts, and that's kind of normal during Lilith transits. She can be very similar to Pluto in a way of like, she is here to heal something in our shadow self, meaning, you know, something that we're not very open with. So we're kind of processing things. And that's again happening on the 3rd, 4th, even 5th of July. The peak or the height of it is going to be the 4th of July at 3:52 a.m. Eastern time. So really overnight between the 3rd and the 4th, but it'll be active for a few days. And that's operating behind the scenes during this particular full moon. We're really being asked to heal something. What is the thing that we want to heal? And really, if you think about even the energy that we were coming into over the weekend with Venus square Uranus on Sunday, July 2nd, there could even be a love thing going on. Venus is our love life and our sensuality. And then Uranus wants to break free, wants to be independent, wants to do its own thing and all that. And here's the thing. Usually that only happens a few times a year, but this year, because Venus is going retrograde, that's going to happen for 3 times total. So we have 2 more times of Venus squaring Uranus in the fall. And so basically that's going to be kind of operating behind the scenes. This could have also something, this Black Moon Lilith and also Chiron healing something could have been in reference to something from our love life. And so that's a fertile ground there that we could. Now, the reason why I'm talking about this is because even when we get into Thursday, July 6th, Mercury is going to square Chiron. And so Mercury right now is in Cancer, squaring Chiron, like I said, is in Aries. Chiron's going to be in Aries for many years. Chiron's actually has a weird orbit and is in Aries the longest out of all of the astrological signs. So we have many years of Chiron in Aries. And so now we want to talk about the thing that is bugging us. We want to try to dredge this up to heal it in some way. And this is happening overnight, Wednesday and Thursday. Technically, it's in Eastern time, it's 12:29 a.m. Eastern time on Thursday. So really it's Wednesday night if you're out on the West Coast, 9:29 p.m. on the West Coast. So Wednesday into Thursday, we now want to talk about what we need to heal, what we want to heal. But Mercury is squaring Chiron right now, meaning that these two are not on the same page. Mercury's in Cancer, which is so emotional and talkative and sentimental, and Aries is kind of like, let's just do this, I mean, Aries can be a little bit abrupt and not overly sentimental. We have to kind of, if someone tries to process with us and needs to talk or wants to express themselves, we have to really remember to hold space and not just be like, hey, get over it. Or, I don't really have time right now, kind of thing. We need to kind of hold space for others. And then also ourselves, if we need to really talk to somebody, we need to be open about what we need to say and say, hey, do you have a minute? Because I really need to talk to you about this thing. And then that can kind of catch somebody's attention and they'll go, oh, you really need to talk. Yes, let's sit down. So we have to be clear instead of just kind of, I kind of feel like this could be like almost verbally, like sort of vomiting on somebody. And we don't want to do that because we might catch them off guard. And then they can't really be there to hold space for us, if that's what's coming up for you during this time. And so again, all of this is initiated during this particular full moon, getting into Chiron, and then Chiron highlights Black Moon Lilith, and then highlights Mercury. Now, the next day on Friday, July 7th, 2023, Mercury, again in Cancer, is going to form a positive sextile with Uranus. Now, Mercury and Uranus, like I've said before, if you've watched my program long enough, you will know that I call these two the live wires of the zodiac. This is a time where communication really does speed up. And again, this is another overnight between Thursday and Friday, 12:55 a.m. Eastern time on Friday morning, or West Coast, 9:55 p.m. on Thursday night. Uranus can be quite ADD or ADHD, kind of all over the place. And so if we're really wanting to process whatever it is we want to process and talk, this can be very erratic energy. It's like we're not really grounded behind the scenes. We want to be because Uranus is in Taurus, but that's not how it's really operating right now. These two can really be make us feel a little bit ungrounded. Now, the good news is it's a sextile, so that can be positive inspiration. That could be even an opportunity that comes out of nowhere. I mean, remember, sextiles can present opportunity, but it's just that there's a little bit of erratic energy going on in our communication department. Whenever Mercury is highlighted, that means communication stuff can be highlighted. And whenever Mercury and Uranus specifically get together, I have definitely seen where people will contact me and they'll be like, is it Mercury retrograde? Because my printer's doing weird things, my cell phone's doing weird things. Well, that's just because Mercury and Uranus are kind of highlighting each other. It's a sextile, which is considered to be a little bit more mild in nature, but it still could be enough that could be a little bit of a disruption. So on Sunday, July 9th, we have even more mercurial energy. So Mercury is really active this week. Behind the scenes, Mercury is going to be forming a positive trine with Neptune. That's 7:57 p.m. Eastern time on Sunday, the 9th. And so this is our dreams and sort of our imagination. And it's good that it's happening on Sunday. Not good if you have to work on Sunday, but if you have off this weekend, this is a good time to kind of take a break. You might be tired maybe from all the festivities and the running around that you've been doing this week. Well, this is a great time to rest, especially on Sunday night. We might be a little bit more tired than normal. We might be feeling a little bit more dreamy and a little bit more imaginative. Some people truly do feel kind of spacey and sort of out of it during Neptunian transits. So you have to kind of report back and let me know how that is. These are going to be trine in water signs. Mercury is in Cancer. And then Neptune is in Pisces, and Neptune just turned retrograde. I have a reel on my Facebook page and also a YouTube short about that. If you haven't watched it, feel free to go ahead and watch Neptune retrograde. But basically, that's what this is about. It's like dreamy, imaginative. We might even want to take a nap on Sunday. The peak of it is almost towards 8 p.m. on Sunday night, or again earlier if you're on the West Coast. But the big news that night and that weekend is that second chance full moon. That's what we call the last quarter lunar cycle, or it's also called the fourth quarter lunar cycle. When we look at the moon in the sky, it's half of a moon. So that's basically where we're halfway between the last full moon and we're getting ready for the next new moon, which is coming on July 17th this month in Cancer. So basically we're halfway between the last full moon and new moon. And this is the time where we are continuing the work that we had, the releasing, the purging, the letting go that we initiated during the last full moon before we can plant the new seeds during the new moon. So we're basically getting rid of or purging or getting rid of the old, sort of tree stumps and if we go back to the farmer analogy, we're getting rid of all the debris that's on the fields and we're clearing and we're making way so that we can plant those new seeds easily. And this is often called a crisis point during the last quarter lunar cycle is a time of, oh gosh, like, am I ready for those new seeds? Maybe we have to do a little bit more work than we thought. And it's a time of reevaluation. The peak or the height of it is on Sunday at 9:48 p.m. Eastern time, so 6:48 p.m. if you're on the West Coast in the United States, and that's basically this little bit of a crisis point. The moon at this time is going to be in Aries, and then the sun obviously is in Cancer, and so they are square each other. So every time the moon is sort of doing something, whether it's new, it's full, or it's like halfway between these 2 points, it's either conjunct or it's opposing or they're square. And so that's basically what's happening. The sun is in Cancer, moon is in Aries. Those two don't get along quite so easily. They're square each other. It needs to be some understanding. Again, Aries can be a little bit brash and Cancer's a little bit sensitive, and those two getting together can be a little Now they're both leaders. They're both cardinal signs. Even sensitive Cancer is a cardinal sign. They're both the bosses. Cancer is the boss of all of the water signs. Aries is the boss of all of the fire signs. So sometimes there's too many chefs in the kitchen during these times when there's squares amongst cardinal signs. It's kind of like, well, I'm in charge. No, I'm in charge, Somebody has to acquiesce. Somebody has to kind of, not be so egotistical or all about power. I want to make sure that we kind of keep an open mind and an open heart. And if we have to reevaluate, if we have to kind of review things, okay, so be it. This is a good time to do so. Again, that's happening on Sunday, July 9th, and at 9:48 p.m. And if you forgot to burn your new moon manifestation list, that is the time. So make sure that you mark it on your calendar. And that is this week in astrology. Kind of a short and sweet sort of week. There's not as much going on. Now, it is interesting coming next week on Monday, which I will see you guys again live on my regular scheduled program on Facebook. If you guys want to join me, it's on my Astrology Updates by Gretchen Heidel page, 8 p.m. Eastern time every Monday night, except for if it's a holiday. And so basically I will be back live, but next Monday we have Mars and Pallas Athena, which I always call Mrs. Mars because she's similar to Mars. Mars and Pallas Athena are both conjunct each other, and they're both shifting at the same time into Virgo, a same day, I should say. So that's going to be a big, huge front page news. The bulletin is that these two powerhouses, all about action, drive, ambition, are both moving into Virgo. So whatever you got going on in Virgo, you're going to be feeling that for sure on Monday, and then also in the days to come. That is basically what is going on this week. Now I am going to pull a card. What do we need to know about this particular week? And if you are awesome enough to write in the comments what your astrological sign is, how you did during this full moon, love to hear from you. Love it when you guys comment on my YouTube channel. It really helps the algorithm, and make sure that you like the video as well. So let me pull a card, a collective card. What do we need to know from our angels, our spirit guides, our guardians, in reference to this week, 4th of July, we had the full moon, a lot of stuff going on. What do we need to know? I'm going to pull another card too. What do we need to know? Okay. Well, this is good news. Okay. Believe and blessings of abundance. These blessings of abundance is a guardian angel card, and believe is Hildegard of Bingen. She's a saint. And so basically this is about believing in ourselves. We do have a lot of blessings, a lot of gifts. I mean, we are letting things go, and this is the full moon to going all the way into the new moon, but we have to believe in ourselves. Sometimes we really start to feel a little bit down. There's a lot of that black moon Lilith kind of energy where we might feel a little bit down on ourselves, or like, you know, and she's saying believe in yourself, because, and I love this angel has like almost like a cornucopia in her arms. Blessings of abundance is all about remembering that the angels and the universe want to fulfill our wishes. They, they want to help us manifest. And people will say, well, I'm not trying to manifest anything. It's like, well, what are your thoughts? What are the repetitive thoughts that you're having? Because that's the order form. That's like what you just, put into the sort of universe's computer system of what you want. And when you're having repetitive thoughts, then the universe is going to be fulfilling those. So you want to make sure that you remember that you have all kinds of blessings, and, things just work out your way, and that, this can be a really positive thing, but you have to believe in yourself. If you start to get down on yourself, see, even this just fell out of my other deck. This is called the Trusting Lamb card, and this is actually about not trusting. If you see the lamb is like, gonna fall. And so this is about not trusting. So the card believe means you have to trust. You have, having, it's similar to having faith, and so God, Buddha, the angels, whoever you pray to, the universe is always conspiring to help. We have to clean up our thoughts. We have to clean up, what's going on in our lives so that we can, make room for something that's new. But first we have to release something. In order to clean things up, we have to let it go. And that's what full moons cycles are all about. From the full moon all the way to the new moon, 2 weeks. That's what we're supposed to be working on, is clearing out, letting go, purging, getting rid of, and being able to, because eventually we're going to have new things that we are going to welcome. But if there's no room, then we won't be able to do that. So that's what this is about. I hope that helps everybody. I hope you all have a wonderful, happy, healthy, safe, prosperous 4th of July, however you choose to celebrate that. I hope your puppies and your kittens and your hamsters and whatever else aren't too freaked out by the fireworks. And if you really enjoy this content, I love creating this content for you. Go ahead and like and share. It really helps the algorithm, and I really appreciate you guys viewing my videos. Namaste, everybody. Have a great week.